Welcome to another AEW installment of Tag Me In, where the triple threat brain trust to tag over the good, the bad, and everything in between in the world of professional wrestling. I, of course, am the unofficially official Lip Dizzle, joined with none other than the less than stealthy unicorn himself. Ho 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 ho! ScooterRay El Idolo, aka
I don't have the fancy rings or the luchador necklace yet, but boy,
you gonna get there.
boy, I will get there.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Look, he's gonna add a little bit of the tranquilo to that.
Tranquilo.
Ooh.
Good tranquilo swag. And of course, ladies of the IWC, Mr. Jaeger Bombastic, so fantastic. No red velvet, no Thunder Rosa. Jaeger might be a little mad at this AEW Dynamite.
Right below me.
It was a little disappointing. but all the more to scout. So
yeah, I can definitely say that my feelings on this episode of Dynamite is not as bad as it was last week's. Still some bad stuff, but my overall opinion is that the first half was bad to me, and then the second half is what made it a lot better. So that's my overall. But of course, we'll get into it as we go along. But yeah, definitely. Hold up. Now,
faux show.
Did you guys have any other? Because we already know Scoot. He dropped the bomb right before we hit the 10 count. But Jaeger, did you have any feelings as comparison between last week and this week?
Oh, I definitely felt it was a better show than last week's. It wasn't an amazing show, like it wasn't just jaw dropping, but it was still, I give it a 7.5.
Yeah. For sure. One thing that this helped me notice is, and it's funny because as I've been watching NXT, it's helped me understand my gripe with Karrion Kross being champion, and now me watching the last 3 weeks of Dynamite has kind of helped me understand what some of the glaring issues on AEW's weekly has been, especially with it being on Friday. And for me, it's their pacing issues with the show.
That might be why I felt the way I felt.
And I'm good. And of course, I'm definitely gonna go over it as we go, because this show was probably the best way for me to summarize it with the way things had been going, and especially with some of the issues that we've had previously, especially with spoiler alert, the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle feud that's been going on. So
yeah.
But of course, before we jump into the ins and outs of the show, Scoot, I'm sure you got some news, and we may have the same type of news, but I've heard some stuff today that I think we should talk about, and it's definitely some good stuff. So hit us with it.
Out of everybody here, who wants to see Samoa Joe possibly back in NXT?
That's exactly what I wanted to bring up, and I'm glad you said it. Okay.
Loki's down for it.
Yeah.
So I heard maybe about a good 2.5 hours ago.
Yeah, I heard it yesterday. I saw it yesterday.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, it's been rumored that that Samoa Joe had been spotted at the Performance Center, and that NXT was thinking about re-signing him to there. And the moment that I heard this, the whole conversation of who could be Karrion Kross popped into my head. And outside of right now, the way Adam Cole's being booked, Samoa Joe, no question.
Yes.
Could do this. Period.
And I will say this. If your pick of Karrion Kross wins and Samoa Joe comes right out after that and starts beating the shit out of Kross,
that would be nice.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, and at the same time, I think, even if he had his no compete, it wouldn't even matter because he's being signed to basically the same company.
Yeah.
So yes, ASAP, please, because NXT.
I was talking to the missus, and I was like, maybe we need to start entertaining the fact that NXT is separate from WWE. Maybe we have to start looking at NXT almost as a separate entity rather than a third brand. Like maybe we might have to look at NXT as a, because I don't understand how they're doing so much things right and WWE doing so much things wrong. It should be the opposite. They should be struggling on NXT and WWE should be just thriving. Like I just don't get it. Personally.
As a Marvel fan, I like to equate NXT to like say the Ultimates. Like what was that, 6106? Is that the Ultimate Universe?
No, 616 is 616 is the main.
Yeah,
universe,
616 is your main, which I guess would be your SmackDown and Raw, which honestly aren't doing too hot. But think of NXT as the Ultimates.
Yeah.
Where you got gems like Miles Morales from, you know?
Sure.
Uh-oh.
I think one of the main issues is a big trust issue because I mean you have case in point the creative teams. Everybody answers to Vince on the main roster. That's an audience of one. Whereas you have Regal, you have
Trips,
Road Dogg, you have Shawn Michaels, you have Trips. They all Trips trust them to kind of you know with their minds and everything, and whoever else they have on there as well. So it's not just them catering to Triple H. Triple H, he pretty much picks the talent at this point, and then he just kind of goes with whatever they think is best. You know, same thing. I mean, think about even before that, Dusty Rhodes. Everybody praises Dusty Rhodes for the way that he groomed the talent. Yeah. And, you know, nobody's out here saying, yo, Triple H did this, Triple H did. They just say Papa Trips because he's overrunning everything. But at the end of the day, they praise the people that's pushing them now. I mean, you hear Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, you know, et cetera, Velveteen Dream. They all praise, you know, Shawn Michaels because he's the one that pretty much groomed them in this whole process as well. So, I think it's a big trust with the creative team on NXT rather than it is on the main roster. And again, you never hear any of the performers or superstars complain about backstage or creative. Whereas on the main roster, anytime somebody leaves, Mox, Pac, et cetera, they always complain about creative on the main roster. So,
yeah, and, you know, and that's always the weird thing because you know many people get so upset and they immediately blame Vince. Now, one wrestler I heard blame Vince. Nobody ever blamed Vince because I mean, even Chris, because Jericho was saying, you know, Vince is on his top list of the bosses his top 3 bosses he ever worked with, and he was like, Vince was never really the issue; it's the creative. And the problem is that sometimes when you have to go through so many channels, you don't want to do that. So we got to stop truly looking at Vince McMahon as the issue. And sometimes it might not be Vince's fault. Some of these things happen. And, you know, not to try to shoot Vince bail or nothing, but, you know, it's hard to be a man who has over 200 plus employees, 300 plus employees, and you can't really expect a 70-something-year-old man to truly know everything that's happening.
Be so ingrained,
True. Well,
I mean, you know, because you know there's difference because you know in Nick Khan's case, Nick Khan is late 30s. I mean, sorry, Tony Khan, late 30s, early 40s. He can be in the know.
True.
He could be in the know. Which is funny because I heard about complaints about the football club he owns in England. You know, apparently he's a shitty football manager, but that's in England. But
that's across the pond, you know.
Yeah, you know, that's across the pond. But it's easy for him to be in the know in AEW's case. And who's to say if AEW ends up being a company that stays around forever, he's not going to always be in the know forever. There's going to be a point to where Tony Khan is going to take a step back. And other people are going to be running the day-to-day.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because, I mean, you know, you think about it back in the day, we all praised Vince on, like, the Attitude Era and everything that he done, that he did even previously, during, and then after the Attitude Era up to, you know, maybe Triple H's reality era that was going on.
Yeah, the reality era. Because, I mean, even the Ruthless Aggression era, he was still Yeah, you just kind of just like disappeared on us, like
Hey,
abandoning the tag team right now.
for a second, it just like showed nothing on the picture, and then showed like the spinning circle on everybody, and then it just kicked me out. I'm
I
not
thought
even sure
you,
what's going
I
on.
thought you pulled the whole walkout on your tag partners.
Nah, I ain't going heel to that degree yet.
Makes sense. But yeah, and I think even during like the ruthless aggression era, because that's around time where he kind of put trust within Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman to run the shows respectively. So I don't blame Vince entirely. I mean, there's a part of me that does, because he has to take some of the blame, especially when you hear about
of course.
the rewrites. But I think this is a perfect segue, and I don't know if you had this on the docket, Scoot, but Trips having some words to say about the fans.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And
okay, perfect.
I'm gonna say this. Well, go ahead and say what Tripp said, and I'm gonna give you my feelings on that.
Yeah, basically, just to kind of paraphrase what Tripp's saying, he had an issue, and I thought it was just for NXT, but he actually had it. He had that gripe about the main roster, about basically fans kind of too busy predicting what's supposed to happen and too worried about where the story is going to end up, and not just going along for the ride and actually just spoiling ourselves to the point to where we get on all these message boards and these Reddit threads and stuff like that, and just trying to kind of just predict and then try to get all these rumors and all these leaks and stuff to try to figure out what's going on or what's going to happen. And to a degree, he is right, because as wrestling fans,
and also don't forget, it kind of ended up with the whole, if you watch it, you watch it. If you don't.
True, and which is why I'm not watching Raw.
And to be perfectly honest with you, I was going to say this because I've been seeing a lot of people discuss this on the internet and everything, and all these people were kind of upset at what Tripp said. He's 100% correct.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, take for instance here. I don't know who's sitting here is a Kardashians fan, but if you're gonna watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, you're gonna watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, even though it just ended. Yeah. If you don't, you don't.
It's over?
Yeah, it just had a series finale. But
are they spinning it off or some shit?
I wouldn't be surprised. But it's just like any forms of media. If you want to watch the MCU, go watch the MCU. If you don't want to watch the DCEU, don't watch the DCEU. If you want an Xbox, get an Xbox. PlayStation, get it. If you want to watch, I mean, he's not lying. Regardless of how he might have said it, at the end of the day, that's life.
True. Now,
do what you want to do and move on.
I'm going to disagree with that a little bit, but go ahead, Jaeger.
I was saying there's a little support behind that from my end, because I don't know, I talk with other friends that are also wrestling fans, and I see it on the message threads and whatnot. I don't know, we get so wrapped up in our expectations of where we want a title to go or where we want certain characters to go and everything. So when they end up getting like not so much shafted, but if they start going on a losing streak and when we start like not liking it, or if somebody wins over a championship, we're going to start throwing around our disapproval and whatnot, instead of just, as Triple H is saying, just sit back, relax, enjoy the shows for what they are, enjoy the matches for as they are. Because like, as much as we don't want to see nobody wants to see Charlotte and Asuka in the ring again, like against each other again.
Yes.
However, they do put on some pretty good matches, like if you catch the highlights and whatnot. So it may not be your cup of tea, but it's still the entertainment that people might want to look for, even though it's like the 50th time we've seen it within 3 months.
And I'm glad that both of you had laid those assessments out like that, because that adds to what I was going to say. Because my disagreement, well, I agree with everything y'all both said, but my disagreement comes into what he said in terms of being able to watch where the story goes. I'm fine with that. I am perfectly fine with that. Case in point, we think about SmackDown with the Roman Reigns storyline and everything with that. And then on NXT, where we think about everything that they do on that end. So I'm just going to highlight, just let's just say the Xia Li thing, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I stated earlier this week about how I felt about where that story was going and my disapproval with it, but then me being caught back up. Yeah, I didn't like it in the beginning, but I came around as I watched it, and I even stated this earlier on the NXT Tag Me In, where I stated, from at this point, I'm not going to question. I'm going to shut up and watch. That's for NXT because I trust NXT to do that. But if you sit there and then you pair that with Raw and you think about all the stuff that's going on with that, I can't agree with that same sentiment when it comes to Raw, because it seems like it's always going nowhere and it always leads to it. And you think about the start-stop motif that they have going on. You think about Hurt Business, where that seemed to be perfectly going somewhere, and then you end it with no reason whatsoever. It didn't go anywhere. You had Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander wrestling back to back for 3 weeks straight with no story. That's going nowhere. Then you have Cedric now just being jobbed out to Jeff Hardy all of a sudden. Shelton Benjamin nowhere to be found. Then you have Bobby Lashley off on his own, and then to have MVP kind of paired with the remnants of Retribution, but then they're not paired. So it's like,
wait, is MVP not managing Lashley anymore?
No, he's still with Lashley.
Yeah, it's just, but it's just the fact that there's like, and then you think about the Fiend and the Alexa Bliss stuff. Alexa Bliss has the Fiend's aura, powers, whatever, and it seems like she's in a stale thing right now because it just doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Like,
and
she's just now about to have her first few weeks if she's done this.
Yeah, and then I'll say, and I'll say this about Charlotte. As much shit as I give Charlotte about every fucking week, there is some good in Charlotte. Charlotte is a fantastic heel. She's good in the ring. She does her job as a heel. When she has a championship, it's not a bad thing. It's just the amount of times they put the championship on her for no reason. But when there are specific reasons when she has a title where it actually means something, I have no problem with.
Yeah.
But when you have situations where you bring her back just to take Lana out of a situation to put her in there just so that way she can be a Grand Slam champion in the women's division, it makes no sense. So that's my gripe. But as far as what y'all said previously, I agree with everything, because in that case, that makes absolute all the sense.
Yeah, I mean, so for instance, let's truly put it in perspective. At the baseline, Raw and SmackDown roughly gets 1 million fans per week. Whether it's 1 point whatever, at least they hit 1 million. Let's say at the baseline, AEW gets, let's say, 700,000 at the baseline. At the baseline, let's say NXT does 600,000. Those numbers are going to be the people who are going to be there every week.
Oh, that's your base. Yeah.
That's your base. Wrestling is not as culturally popular as it used to be.
Very true.
And the age we're living in now, which a lot of people, I guess, hasn't realized, it's hard now to bring in new people to anything. Basketball and football gets the fans they get because it's basketball and football, regardless of the interchangeable parts, not to disrespect any of the athletes. Basketball is still basketball, football is still football, soccer is still soccer, baseball is still baseball, all of the above. Hockey is still hockey, NASCAR, all of these sports are going to mainly get the same people because they love that sport. Same thing with wrestling. The problem with wrestling is wrestling's interchangeable parts are cultural icons. Because too many of the people I knew was like, yeah, I started watching wrestling when Rock left, or hey, I started watching wrestling when Stone Cold left, stuff like that. Those were cultural icons. They were beyond wrestling. They blended into just entertainment, period. Thing is, with wrestling, John Cena and Batista will probably be the last ones to truly do it. Because I can't see John Cena and Batista will probably be the last ones to truly that's going to blend into pop culture like that. So, yes, because I know Cornette preach about this all the time, saying about how wrestling used to do 4 or 5 million. We get that. The problem is that it will never get back to that because too many people have moved on. And let's just face it, there's a lot of outlets of entertainment today. Because we're starting to see it with AEW's numbers. AEW is competing with basketball that's on the same network, and because of basketball, AEW's numbers are slipping.
I gotta address that one because again, I'm seeing that on forums and everything about how people are tripping about basketball being the like the thing that's taking all the shine right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like people seem to forget that Raw, SmackDown, they would get they would get overshadowed by dog
Monday
shows.
Night
footballs, debates.
Yeah.
Yes. Like exactly. So all this ridiculous like hate right now, or like anybody trying to be like, ha, look at y'all losing numbers. It's like to basketball, like this is a legitimate thing. Like, this is the finals, this is the playoffs, this is something that, let's be honest, has a bigger crowd.
Exactly.
At least it's not losing shine to dog shows. It's not losing shine to things that are just honestly like, as let's just call it what they are, insignificant in comparison.
Yeah, and for those of you who are complaining and just like y'all sent out the whole petition thing that's going on to get basketball moved, that's fucking stupid. People of the IWC, stop making us look bad, please. Because that's like to be perfectly honest, like even if basketball was on a Friday like that, it would still probably suffer too. But at the same time, it may not, because of the fact that it's live like that. You have to realize this. We have DVR. If somebody is doing something on Friday, they're probably going to watch the shit Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, or whenever.
And not only that too, because you just brought up a good point. Outside is opening back up again.
Yes. Mm-hmm. People go out on Friday nights, Saturday nights.
People are like,
yeah,
fuck a TV. I am going to the bar, or I am going whatever. So
hey, guess what they're watching at the bar anyway?
Exactly.
Basketball, football, hockey, whatever the hell.
So we gotta stop harping on numbers and ratings and this, that, and the other, because nothing is gonna ever go back to the way it was. There's too many outlets. You talking about, look at how entertainment has changed now. People look towards YouTube, Twitch as outlets of entertainment. People look towards Netflix, Hulu, Disney, Discovery, HBO.
The list goes
on as outlets. And then you still got cable TV, who still struggles to get new people because of all these streaming services. So, for the numbers they get, it's not what it used to be 7-8 years ago or whatever, but it's still enough.
Yeah.
And you know what? Scoot. Thank you, Scoot. Case in point, since you said that about everything opening back up, perfect example, because the very first Dynamite that was on a Saturday where Brody Lee won the TNT title, their ratings were 755.
Damn.
That was on a Saturday. So it's not the NBA.
No.
Stop complaining.
It's people's interest. Guys. It's the interest. Like, if your interest just fades, your interest just fades. Fade, But yeah, we just gotta stop.
And we'll touch on that one in a little bit once we get into the show.
Yeah, it's like, there are factors at play now that takes people's attention away. Because you got to think, when we were our ages during the Attitude Era, what were our only forms of entertainment? Either you're playing some type of video game, you're either watching TV, or you outside playing.
Yeah, at the same time, it was must-see TV, because if you missed out on it, you were going to be out of the conversation the next day when you were at school.
Big man.
Yep.
So
I remember breaking my parents' little bedtime rule just to watch like Raw for another hour, 8 to 10.
Same. So Was Triple H's delivery might have been a little wrong, maybe, but was his message in the 100% right? Yes. If you're gonna watch our product, watch our product. If you're not gonna watch our product, don't watch our product.
Plenty of other shit to do.
There's plenty of other shit to
Absolutely.
do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's not wrong in this statement.
But that's why I mean, granted, part of that. This is why I kind of feel bad for Triple H just a little bit, because especially on some of these calls, because he's always the man up front answering these questions, because you don't have only calls Vince get on are the
shareholders and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So he has to answer these tough questions, and he has to sit there and save face. He can't just sit there and just be like, oh well, shit, main roster shit. They fuck up all my talent when they go up there. You know,
that'll be some wild shit.
Yeah, but he can't say that. But maybe down the line when Triple H gets a little older and we get one of these behind, the dark, maybe Trips gets the dark side of the ring for like Vince McMahon or something like that, and they say, yeah, I had to deal with all this bullshit. I didn't want to say anything, and I always have to cover ass on everybody's. So yeah, I look forward to that episode.
Me too.
If that ever happens, but yeah, like. I digress, but yeah, those were the only two things that I think that I was.
Yeah, that was
I
it.
still had in the doc. Oh, well then shit.
Yeah, that was really the whole Samoa Joe comments.
I mean, this is kind of baseless. I mean, I'm sorry, not so much baseless, but we all know that a certain man by the name of Tommy End, as of right now,
that's right,
had a certain interview with Renee. She asked him like where he'd like, or who he'd like to wrestle, or where he'd like to go, and then he started spouting out how he would like to wrestle plenty of people that are in Impact and AEW, and a couple in Ring of Honor. So I don't know. He didn't really express interest in wanting to go back to being Aleister Black. But I mean, hell, if the money's right, I mean, look, the Good Brothers even went back and said no to the Bucks. So,
well, let's look at it like this. And since we're on this, when was that interview for Oral Sessions?
Hold on, let me look it up right quick.
Might have been
this week.
And
let's see. Let's see. That interview came out Tuesday.
Okay.
So it was probably recorded maybe last week.
Okay. And so on top of that, we talked about the rumors of WWE wanting him back on Thursday. So interesting, timing wise.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, the fact that he showed interest in that, and which also means, and this goes back to Booker.
I mean, Mr. Dizzle, if you have beef with the one Booker T, you could just tell him.
I don't. Look,
you can just let us know. It'll be fine.
I have no issue. I mean, I respect him. It's just some of his opinions, which I just like I said last time. It's just it seems like he shills a little bit for WWE, and it's hard for him not to. I guess since he is
still
under contract.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that doesn't sound like somebody who doesn't have it. Especially if he can just say, "I want to wrestle these people here, here, and here," and him signing at one place allows him to do that under one contract. And then all of a sudden there's rumors like, oh, well, we may have made a mistake. We want to bring Aleister Black back.
Yeah.
And I look at things kind of on both sides of the fence. I don't necessarily take everything face value. And the reason why I say that is, who's to say in the future AEW doesn't start doing this?
True.
Who's to say in the future AEW doesn't start saying, hey, if you're signing to AEW, you're only working at AEW?
It's a little it's a little less restrictive with them since they did kick open the forbidden door, started working with other promotions.
But that's the thing. It's restrictive now because they're only in
You're right.
year 3.
Yeah.
WWE
2, 3,
is in year
yeah.
WWE is in like year 50. So
Yeah.
let's say when AEW, let's say in 2031, AEW is like, nah, fam, you only here and here only.
Yeah, I mean, look at it like this. I mean,
Could be a thing.
It could be a thing. It's just the fact that I think honestly what happened personally, a lot of the people they were hiring early still had dates. And it was like, hey, I can't miss these dates, but I do want to sign with y'all. So to be the progressive company, to be the cool company, okay, cool. You can work those dates. We'll let you work, fulfill your obligations to New Japan or to this promotion here. But at the end of the day, you're here. So, I mean,
right.
But who's to say 5 years down the line, hell, even next year, AEW puts a clamp on all of that.
It's yeah, even though they're doing it, even though they're being open with it now, all it's going to take is a situation like Leo Rush that happened to somebody else. You get enough talent that gets hurt on other shit, and to where they can't complete their contractual obligations for AEW. Tony Khan's gonna have to be like, yo, I got to buckle down because if y'all keep getting hurt outside of here, then I can't do what I'm doing here. So yeah. It's definitely possible.
Because everybody's favorite wrestling manager, he would, because listen to some of his stories he would tell, as long-winded as those stories may be, he would say a lot of the reason why it worked out so much back in the territory days, because it was like, well, hey, let me borrow Roman Reigns for a month and I give you Kenny Omega for a month. Okay, well, the people in Tennessee didn't know what was happening in Virginia. The people in Texas didn't know necessarily the ins and outs of what was happening in Florida. Right. You were able to keep it within that state unless somebody was passing it around because they didn't have a social media. They didn't have things like that. So you was able to keep that whatever Roman Reigns is doing in this town, he's able to do differently in this town. He might be a heel in Florida, but a babyface in Louisiana. Because the people in Louisiana, if you apply it today, WWE is the biggest company in the United States because they travel everywhere. Right. So it's like AEW, a close number 2. So it's one of those things to where social media and everything, you can't get that secretness of wrestling. So with WWE saying, the only thing I dislike about it is they're independent contractors, but
independent contractors.
Yeah, that's the only thing I hate, that whole independent contractors thing. But yes, you can get seller's remorse. You can get you can get buyer's remorse. I'm pretty sure right now there might be a few folks in AEW that they're like, I can't wait till they contract up. They just won't say it right now, but I'm pretty sure they feel that way. So the enticement of the indies and the enticement of wrestling guys on your checklist is pretty high, because when you're quote unquote tied to a company for so long and you start to see, somebody like Tommy Ian, he could have wrestled Brody King 4 or 5, 6 years ago. But now Brody King is a different Brody King. Brody King has stepped his game up. He has been like this, like, no, I want to wrestle that version of Brody King. And I personally feel Tommy Ian should just do a tour. Once his no complete clause is over with August 31st, he should just do him a good 1-year lap tour, sign some, kind of like how Matt Cardona was doing. He was like, look, I'll wrestle for your promotion for about a month. So that way I get a chance to wrestle this person, that person. And if he wants to go back to WWE, because he might have felt safe and secure there. Let him go.
True.
You know,
I didn't think of it like that, but that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what Cody did, but he just didn't go back.
It's not a certain idea. Yeah, true.
So like I said, so yes, AEW looks like the cool kid on campus because like, oh no, they're letting their wrestlers do this and do that. But I do remember one thing people looked over with AEW. They basically said too, if Moxley wrestles for New Japan, it has to be in Japan.
Mm.
It can't be in the United States since he represents AEW.
But he defended his title twice.
Yeah.
But it was in AEW's. But didn't he go to New Japan to do the defense?
He did the New Japan one with Kenta, but he defended against Yuji Nagata on
AEW's banner.
Yeah.
So you know, and kind of like what Dizzle just said, if somebody, let's say they loaned out fucking the Acclaimed, and the Acclaimed was supposed to be the next team up, and Anthony Bowens get injured working at this, all right.
Yep.
They will clamp that shit down.
And let's not forget.
And you know, perfect example with NBA and the NFL. It's in their contracts during the off season. You can't do shit that'll get you injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost you and them money.
Riding motorcycles and all this other stuff. That's a no-no, because if you get injured, you know, you won't be able to fulfill your contractual obligations.
True,
indeed. Especially all the money they shell out to them, and
especially.
And the comparison between AEW and WWE makes even more sense with that too, because it's glossed over as well. But in the beginning of WWF, they did the same thing. When Cornette was over at WWF, they were still bringing. I mean, think about when the Rockers were over there going against the Hart Foundation. The Rockers were not signed to WWF at that time, and the same thing with when you had Midnight Express. You had people from NWA coming over to WWF and then going back over. Same thing later on. They did the same thing with ECW, where you had Jerry Lawler going over there and feuding with. I think he feuded with Raven at a point, and somebody else, and it was the same thing. So. Yeah, I know. Granted, we shit on WWE all the time over this shit for not playing nice, but you know, like Scoot says, 50 years in the biz, it's a business move, and they're just securing their assets. So, yeah, it's anything's fucking possible.
I mean, okay, Jaeger or Lip, take somebody in AEW that's not one of their top stars.
You talking about Archer?
Okay, we can take Archer. Lip, you throw out somebody.
QT Marshall.
Take QT Marshall, as he wants to be pronounced.
Marshall.
Let's say QT and Lance Archer gets loaned out and they go wrestle in Impact, or hell, even look at that.
You know what?
Since you brought up willingly to send people to Impact, but that's a different story. But
since you brought up Impact, I'll change from Lance Archer to Private Party.
Okay, Private Party and QT Marshall. QT and Private Party start wrestling, and let's say they get bigger being loaned out than they are in AEW. They're gonna be whoa. We're gonna go ahead and take these guys back. We go whoa. There are talent. So I understand that they was getting popular over here, but we're going to go ahead and bring them back over here because we're going to try to take that new popularity that they have and make sure it's brought back to here. And probably nobody will blink an eye to that.
Damn, that's layers on top of layers, because then you can have Impact getting mad at being like, you know, we just made your star bigger over here. So I think you may owe us a little something.
You may owe us something. Exactly.
On the end of, like, let's just say Private Party and QT Marshall gets big headed and say, you know, I want to renegotiate this contract because I just upped my stock. You know? So shit, that's a shitload of shit.
It's got a potential to be a storm, but
I mean, because you got to think, Rock, Stone Cold, John Cena, Batista. The price just went up.
That's true. And that does make sense.
Especially The Rock, Vince. I can go do this movie for 15 mil. The price just went up. If you want me to wrestle.
Yeah.
Oh, John Cena. Oh, I got Fast 9 coming out, fam. Yeah, I told the fans I'll never betray WWE, but I got a movie coming out that's about to be the movie of the summer, potentially. The price just went up if you want me to show up. Vince don't want to ever lose that leverage again.
Hence the budget cuts.
Hence the budget cut. The price just went up.
It's no new stars or no mega stars. There we go.
Because Jim Cornette had said Vince will never let nobody, because somebody asked him that question, and he said nobody will never get that one up on Vince again.
Craziness.
Because the price will go up.
Well, I'm glad I'm glad we unpacked it, because that kind of peeled back a few layers of what's going on especially for those who have some complaints as to why certain companies do this and that, especially with why WWE does some of the things that it does. If you didn't know, this is pretty much the tip of the iceberg as to why. It's a lot, and a lot of people won't understand it at the beginning because you just see it at face value. But, you think about a business being a business, there's a lot of reasons for people doing a lot of stuff that may seem unfair, unpopular to the general mass. So, that was a happy accident that we touched on that too.
Oh, absolutely. With that being said, we can roll right into Dynamite.
Let's fucking do it.
Dynamite, I like that.
Shout outs to Aranya for that with the whole Dynamite.
Okay. Props to Aranya. Thank you.
Now Dynamite opened up with, of course, not so favorable for Scoot, because it opened up with Matt Hardy on the mic.
Oh, wait. We were interrupted with the Pinnacle showing up in their stretch limo.
They did. And it's
weird. That was about it.
That was pretty much it. But Matt Hardy introduced Angelico instead of him just actually coming out. His fucking entrance. Don't know why, but whatever. He had to get his promo off on Christian.
They gave him a jobber entrance.
And know what was bad? You know what was bad? I was starting to like Angelico. I really was.
Well, technically, they're not members of the Hardy family office just yet.
Matt
Hardy sat there and introduced that man. It counts.
You know what?
It counts.
To me, TH2 is like my most underrated tag team that are not getting the shine they should be getting.
Well,
but
until they break away from the HFO, FOH.
Damn, that was bars, but
yeah, that really was bars. But yeah, Christian came out. They had a match, and stuff happened. Of course I don't like the whole Hardy family office and shit like that, but I don't mind Christian in this role, feuding with them, because it gives him something to do. It keeps him out of the big shit. So I'm fine with that. I definitely am ready for him to go heel, because I think that would be a good dynamic for him. But at the same time, this is fine. I didn't really like the fact that Jungle Boy came out to help him, because I think Jungle Boy needs to be focused on,
his title match.
Exactly. Which he was, but that, it came secondary to this when you think about how the show went. So
and let me say a word to all these AEW fanboys and sympathizers out here. What are they doing with Matt Hardy and Christian? Revisiting their history from where? WWE.
This is very true. So I wasn't too much of a fan of this whole thing.
I think we're looking at Matt Hardy and the HFO in the wrong light.
How
Okay,
should we be
what
looking
light
at
should
it?
we look at them in?
As exactly what they are, heels. And they're bringing out this annoyance from us. Or at least Hardy is bringing out this annoyance from us, bringing out this whole, I can't stand him being this big money official. He's being big money Matt. And what is big money Matt except for a heel? And if
It's
he's
true.
annoying us and pissing us off, then is the
He's
heel
doing his
not doing
job.
his job? Yeah.
No, absolutely,
No,
absolutely.
so I will say this: all the heels that I strongly dislike are doing their jobs, except for Don Callis. If Don Callis truly never shows up in AEW again, I'll be 100% fine. Like I'm really tired of hearing his fucking voice. But we'll get there when we get there.
Is
Fair.
But my personal beef I have with Hardy personally is you literally went through almost all your gimmicks in a span of like 5 months.
Mm.
I feel like that was him throwing shit at the wall, see what sticks.
And the problem is that it's not so much not liking Big Money Matt. It's the fact that I'm not liking Matt Hardy because your creativity is better than that.
I like that.
You
like that
went
perspective.
from this grand story of why you were broken. It didn't work out because there was no fans, but now you reverted back to an old gimmick that's frankly it's not hitting the way it's supposed to in me. Like the whole swarmy manager is not sticking the way it's supposed to today. Like I think I would like the whole big money gimmick more if it was less campy and more of, hey, I'm gonna take you 30%, wink, wink. If it was just more of, I'm just a sleazy manager.
Yeah, I thought it was going in a different direction once Private Party turned heel because I didn't mind them turning heel. I actually did like it. I don't have a gripe with Matt Hardy in any way, shape, or form in this. I just feel like the story, as far as like the heel turn, could be better. And as far as this, I don't know if Evans is injured, but that's why I'm like, I don't know if TH2 because have they been competing in any tag matches? Or it's just been Angelico because it feels like Angelico's been the only one wrestling.
It's really just been Angelico wrestling.
That's what I've been worried about because I've been waiting for them to be in more tag matches, but that's all I've been seeing as of late. When I see any of them on Dynamite, it's always Angelico wrestling, whether it be Cody, Christian here, or someone else. But yeah, so but. Nothing much out of this one. This is just going pretty much by the numbers. I mean, I'm gonna throw it on the downside of this show on that side, just because I really didn't care too much for it, and this is pretty much how the show went for me. Yeah, and it. Go ahead.
I just don't know why they keep involved. Like, okay, you and Jungle Boy had like that little spat. You don't need to keep Jungle Boy in that. Unless you're gonna see Jungle Boy start to go more singles and he's trying to do like a mentorship of some sort. Hopefully not in the same like capacity as Sting on Darby, because honestly, let's face the facts, that's not really helping Darby at all.
No.
And you know what? Spoiler, I'm glad they alluded to it finally.
What?
Just when Sting and Darby had their little conversation, but I just don't want what's happening with Jungle Boy to turn into another Scorpio Sky situation. Where Luchasaurus and Marco be a team, and then Jungle Boy is doing Jungle Boy things, and it's like, wait, are they still a team? We don't know. Like, what's happening?
See, the only thing we can do there is just wait until the 26th, or I guess afterwards.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jungle Boy saving Christian is like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and going from that to probably the one thing that probably pissed me off the most about the show.
Okay.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Oh my God, fam. Can we really talk about it?
Yeah.
Can we really discuss this like for real?
Yeah, because I think we're all going to.
ever since we had that conversation about Cody versus Charlotte, the nepotism thing, it feels like Cody has been proving us wrong, personally. It's just that Cody has been using his nepotism differently than Charlotte. Charlotte's nepotism has been, oh, I'm going to just win all these titles and just inflate my championship reigns.
Mhm.
Cody's nepotism is, hey, I'm going to get Orn Anderson's kid's first match on Dynamite. Sir? Huh?
You know where I'm thinking this is going, though? And I gotta admit, I read this off of one of the other forums, but it did promote the idea. This could be slow burn heel Rhodes.
I was thinking that too.
You know what this is almost starting to turn into?
What's
What?
that?
If it turns into a slow burn heel Rhodes, it's going to turn into Cody's vision of how Legacy should have went.
See, it's funny that you said that, because as soon as you said that him getting on Arn's kid, I automatically thought of Legacy, but I wasn't thinking about it in that sense. But yeah, now I mean, I'm still on the same boat in terms of like the whole argument of the nepotism thing. Funny that they even use the term nepotism on the show.
They did. They did.
But yeah, my whole gripe is that this whole thing, because this to me, this whole thing felt like it should have been separate from everything that's going on, because I felt like with
the whole segment.
Yeah, like Cody being intertwined in this whole QT Marshall, the Factory, Nightmare Family shit.
Marshall.
QT Marshall. I'm just calling QT.
Look, until he can get my attention outside of that fucking 2.5 man bowling shirt bullshit that he's doing. Like, yeah, I'll be on that boat with you, Lip. I'll call him Marshall.
Nah, fuck that. He don't get that. He don't even get QT. He gets quitting time. He gets quitting time. Quitting time. That's what QT stands for. Quitting time. Time to get the fuck off my TV. It's time to quit. Here's why. I
don't have that big a beef with QT like that. I mean, granted, go ahead. No, go ahead. Explain your.
No,
I mean, it's not ever since I've listened to him. I'm sorry. Who are you telling? Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Yeah.
Just either Jaeger or Lip, whoever wants to go.
I got 2 sentences for it, but like ever since I've watched that Talk Is Jericho on QT and all the shit that he's been doing behind the scenes, I've got a baseline of respect for him.
Okay.
So sure, the story that's being pushed on him is crap. If it's slow burn and it turns out being a successful like thing in the end, then I mean, yeah, you dragged it out too long, but I can see why you did what you did. However, like I just said, I've just got a baseline of respect for QT for doing everything that he's been doing behind the scenes.
Oh, absolutely. I don't mind that. It's more so the storytelling. This is all with creative. I don't know who runs creative backstage at AEW, but this is all with creative. And QT and QT falls into that boat because I give him all the respect in the world for what he's done and what he has been doing. Cool. But the way this story has been going, it's almost like the Roman Reigns John Cena thing. The way that they had booked John Cena and Roman Reigns backstage, and the same thing with Charlotte, is the way that I'm starting to feel about QT. Not that they're booking him strong. It's just like it's such a poor story to me that I'm starting to dislike quitting time because of it. And I don't want to, but it's gonna be him and it's gonna be Cody. And I'm gonna get to Cody in a second as to why, because this is why I agree with part of that nepotism stuff. Because this is what pissed me off. Matter of fact, let's fuck quiet time right now. Let's go.
How did you change that man's name already?
Because the promo that he gave should have been put on mute because I didn't like it. Now,
it was basic.
Cody, this is what pissed me off because he got on the mic and he had the audacity, Stephen A. Smith, the unmitigated gall to come on there and say that QT Marshall did not beat me. Anthony Ogogo beat me. You said that, yet you didn't let it happen at Double or Nothing when it should have happened. So how dare you allow those words to come out your mouth when you know damn well that QT's the one that pinned you? That's bullshit. Now, that's why I'm pissed off at that, because they could have easily fixed it. It's almost like they just shit on all of us and continuously rubbing it in our face, like, you wanted this, it should have happened, but it didn't. But I'm gonna gloat about it. Fuck Cody for that. Now, as far as this Brock Anderson
slow burn heel shit.
Cool, and I'm cool with it being a slow burn heel thing. I just hate that it's with this whole nightmare family and factory shit.
Could be definitely better applied for sure. Yeah,
now if this whole thing was going on without QT coming out and without another fucking tag match going on, I would not be griping about this whatsoever. But because everything is intertwined with this trash ass story, I hate everything that has to do with it.
And then you know, the not to turn this into a race thing so people out there don't trip. The black person in me was just roasting Brock Anderson the whole time.
He was looking like a classic white boy. That's just
call it what it was. I was in my head. I'm like, fam, how you coming out here in a golf shirt, shorts above your knees, and some slides, and you expect me to be intimidated by you as a wrestler? Fuck out of here, fam. Like the roasting session was coming out of me when Brock came out. I was like, fam, they could have made him look a little more intimidating than that. Like,
and just remember, Rock did that, but he ain't dressed like that, but he also had a fanny pack though.
Turtlenecks and chains, man.
The Rock has what we like to call swagger. just like absolute Ricky Starks.
Who, you know what? And I'm glad, you know what? Because I'm just doing it now. I'm gonna just do it now because we gonna get there. But I'm gonna just do it now. Fuck that. I have to agree because when I had to do a double take on Ricky Starks when I watched this shit because dude had pearls on. Dude had a pearl necklace on.
Save your dirty jokes, people.
Fine, I'll pass on it. Damn.
It wasn't a bead necklace. It was pearls. What grown man rock pearls? And it's confident.
Obviously, he can pull that shit off.
And wait, did he have a salmon suit on? Did he have a salmon suit?
I think it was salmon.
You know what?
It was coming around that color wheel.
Give me a little bit of time, and I can actually pull up the video.
But Brock had no swag coming out there. He didn't have no swag walking to the ring. He didn't have no oomph in his voice when he was trying to get the fans over. You know what? I'm going to say it. I'm going to put the stamp. He is now, at this point in time, Brock Van Anderson. I'm giving him the vanilla stamp.
Van
Anderson.
Oh, Van Anderson.
Van Anderson.
I like it.
Just like how we got Jake Van Atlas, he is now Brock Van Anderson. That man was looking vanilla as fuck.
I got to see his ring gear before I completely
now,
agree with you there.
I will completely take it all back if next week he wows the fuck out of me. But as of right now, homie looked vanilla.
He's got a probationary vanilla stamp.
Damn.
He was vanilla.
Yo, Starks rolled out in a lavender suit.
Oh, it was lavender.
If you want to get specific, I don't know.
My man's was looking dapper. But Brock, no. And then and who was it that said Jaeger? And then QT coming out of his 2.5 man bowling shirt. It's like,
but he does it every time. So I'm just like, stop with the change up your out of ring gear, please. Just anyways.
Yeah. But yeah,
But
this
yeah,
kind
this
of
was
boiled
always
down.
just a waste to me
Yeah.
personally.
It was, because this is something that could have just been, addressed on the show that they were gonna have this match on, or they could have alluded it to like some type of vignette or whatever, but it did not need this segment. Something else that is something that could have been cut for time for something else. Now, something else which is kind of 50-50 double-edged sword is the 6-man tag. The only reason I say this is because this whole thing is very predictable. We predicted it last week. We already knew what was going to happen. Brandon Cutler taking the fall. They were going to lose. This whole thing, to me, was more so meant for the end of the match shit. When you had the the Elite Hunter, Frankie Kazarian.
Okay, hold on. Before we continue, I will say this. Y'all know I love me some Death Triangle. They should be tag team champs. I fucks with Kingston. But, god damn it, I cannot believe I'm saying this. The Young Bucks as heels. God damn it.
They're great. They're great.
God damn it. Just, do I dare do it? Fuck it. It's chef kiss. Chef kiss. I mean, and you know who's really doing it for me?
Nick.
Goddamn Nick Jackson.
Yeah.
God damn it is Nick Jackson. But this match was a waste for me. To say there was so much talent, it was a waste.
It was, let's be real though, I gotta give a shout out to Brandon Cutler for being the ragdoll that he was at times.
Yeah.
That was true.
I'm glad he wrestled in a tracksuit though. I'm glad he did.
That was Yo, I'm a little sad about that because Cutler's a fit dude. He could be showing that off.
Yeah, so but he's playing to the character though, so that's why I'm like, cool.
He's definitely playing up the character in that sense.
You should have had some bootleg Young Bucks tights on.
Oh, that would have been cool. Like he's their young boy. I mean, why not wear their merch? But Cutler played his young boy role perfectly. He didn't want to get in the ring. They forced him to tag, and then Matt yanked him over the ropes. Then I don't know how he did this, but when Pac after they destroyed him and then threw him back into the Bucks corner, like Pac literally threw him, and you see Brandon just dive, like nothing, no hands in front, nothing. He just straight up slides into the corner. I give Cutler all the praise on this match. Although we knew where the direction of this match was going, the story that was told during and of course at the end of the match was very well done.
Yeah.
To me, it was if this was on New Japan, it would have fit in perfectly.
Yeah, it actually would have. It would have.
All the story was told in the ring. There wasn't any like crap promos leading up to it. It's just there.
Yeah. And what was the match? What was the match that was set up? It was Kazarian.
I'm not sure. Is that for next week, right?
Yeah, it was Kazarian and two other people versus the Good Brothers, and I forgot who the Good Brothers partner was going to be.
Yeah,
well, they just had Cutler. I mean, maybe Nakazawa.
Or was it a regular tag team match?
It could just be a tag team. Who would it have been though? Like what? Kingston, Kazarian?
I thought it was the trios, but it might have just been a tag team match.
Could be.
But as I know, it's Kazarian and somebody versus the Good Brothers next week because of all the chaos,
all the shit going on.
Is next week the Saturday show, or is that the 26th?
Week after 26th is the Saturday show.
You see, that's why they're doing the Jungle Boy match with Kenny Omega. They're trying to get a draw for people.
And I'm glad that they did announce back in July they will be back on Wednesday. So yeah.
Yo, Well, I mean, they're going on the road, so they got to
Yeah,
be.
they're going on the road. Fighter Fest week 1 and 2 will be in Texas.
Yo,
I'm glad they're still keeping Fighter Fest as 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I do like that myself.
but yeah, so
But yeah, this is
this match was just a match for me.
and it's a good setup for Kazarian to continue his storyline, which I'm glad that they're doing this because it makes sense for him to still be actually doing something, and it keeps the Elite as like the top heels of Dynamite. Period.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, perfect. Which another thing.
Oh, wait. Hold on. My bad. I mean to cut you off. Just save your point. We forgot to mention. We did forget to mention that Cody and QT will be having a strap match.
Oh yeah.
In July. So we did forget to mention that.
That was gonna bring up.
Which was
That
like
Good.
that was a stupid setup, but okay.
Yeah.
That was going to bring up my point how they're kind of leaning in, or I guess just in this Cody-driven storyline, they're kind of leaning in a Raw sense, as in we're starting to see repeats of just like the same people in different ways.
Yeah, and it goes to, and it's funny because it goes to that whole MJF promo that he did a long time ago when we was talking about Cody, saying that he knows the real Cody. He's going to come out. He doesn't give a shit about anybody. And now you're going to end up giving that to QT Marshall, being like, because how he just said Cody doesn't care about the IWC, he cares about the paying fans. So
yeah.
So yeah, you're just going to give a reason for QT to actually just be right and talk shit even more.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm sorry. Now, there's a what was you about to say about?
Yeah. All the champs in AEW are heels.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Every single one.
Does Miro count as a heel or is he a tweener?
Miro's a heel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a heel. Let's just face it. He's probably the best heel they have next to Pac. If Pac is still considered a heel.
What about the role model? Role model, Britt Baker. It's a heel.
Okay. Miro and Britt Baker are tied for best heel in AEW. I did forget about Dr. Baker. AKA #DMD for T.A.G.
Did you not just give the Bucks the chef's kiss?
They're like third on the list. You gotta understand. So one thing you have to understand. I started to become a huge Rusev fan during the whole Rusev Day thing.
Yes, same.
And I saw this Rusev starting to be there in WWE, and then they stagnant. And now to see this version of Miro and how just dominant and how just honestly, well, you know what? I give him more praise when we get to the main event. But he should have done something differently than he did in the match. So then we got to see before our eyes Dr. Baker blossom into the heel she is today. Because it started rough at first. And then all of a sudden this switch flipped and it was like, who is this woman and where has this woman been the whole time?
I don't mean anything bad by this, but Britt's injury may have been the best thing for her for AEW.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So a lot of times we have to look at, think about it. Look what happened with Finn. Finn got injured. He came back to NXT and it was like, where was this Finn on the main roster? Like, what the hell happened?
It's called bad creative, as Jericho called it.
That too. So injuries do help. Hell, look at any time Triple H ever came back from an injury. People used to go stupid when he would come back.
Oh,
he could have been
stupid. He could have been used to come back.
Could have been the absolute dirtiest, quote, best heel ever when he gets like up until his injury, and even when he came back from injury, I'd still cheer my ass off that he was
get a hero's welcome.
Yep.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
I'm gonna do this next one in two parts. I don't even have a graphic for it because it doesn't need it. but it's perfect because both of these promos tie into each other. One was I could do without, and the other one is a good setup for the second half of what I thought was the better part of the show. So Sting and Darby had their backstage segment.
Okay.
Oh,
I could care less.
Okay.
I could care less about it. I felt like this was delivered horribly. Nothing against Darby and Sting. I just felt like the chemistry that they had, it felt like it was just off. And I felt like it was they were just trying too hard to make this a whole like sympathetic, emotional thing. Like, hey, I got to do this by myself. Please just stay home. Just stay home.
Sting.
Like,
I was doing it by myself before you, Sting. Stay home, Sting. Please, for me, Sting. Stay home. Like, y'all could have acted that a lot better than that.
The delivery was crap. However, I am a fan of where like the direction this is going. We're gonna get a look at the old Darby Allin, the one who is not afraid to take on all odds, the one who is not afraid to look at two just very promising, very good athletes and say, "Yeah, I got this."
And I'm glad you said that because that's where I was going, because I was like, this should have been done in one of Darby's vignettes.
Ooh.
Yes.
It should have been done like that, where it was just him talking about how he didn't need Sting and basically setting up how he wanted to just take them on by himself. It would have been way better than this whole backstage thing. So that's why I felt the way I felt about it, because it could have been delivered better.
I miss those vignettes. We need to get more of those back.
Exactly. Now to go to the good part, which pairs with this, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page gave their promos. Had no problem with it. Good heel work, saying that he's making a mistake by doing this. You thought that you were hurting physically on this. Watch what we do to you mentally when you lose to us. Cool. Simple as that.
Yep.
Perfectly fine. I don't know if y'all got anything to say on that one, but that's all I have to say.
Not really.
No, they cut a good promo. There's nothing to say.
So now the Pinnacle make it to the ring.
Right before that, there was the conspiracy video, I guess. Kenny Omega presented fake news, essentially, or just giving their version of what we all saw at Double or Nothing.
This is where things really took turns for me.
Really?
And it was because of the Inner Circle.
Oh, the Pinnacle.
I'm gonna give my overall thoughts. I'm gonna let y'all talk on this one.
Go ahead.
No. I was just trying to give that highlight on the conspiracy video, but yeah, go off.
I'm not gonna go off too much, because this is what I was talking about before when I was saying how the pacing is. So when you think about how last week the Inner Circle, they all came, they got on the mic and they set up things, I didn't like how that shit was outside of Pride and Powerful and possibly Sammy Guevara setting up things with their feuds with the people respectively on the Pinnacle side.
Right.
I looked at this as a whole and I hated it as a whole. But I loved the beginning, because when FTR got on the mic and they started talking, I was like, I like the way this part of the feud is going, because they should have kept it like this. Here's the problem, and this is where you could have taken out Cody's whole segment and you could have chopped this whole thing up. And I'm just going to fantasy book for AEW. Take this, please, AEW. You could have easily had Shawn Spears backstage with Tully, dark backstage, boiler room shit, whatever, and had him being unhinged, talking about Sammy Guevara and how, same thing that he said, and just kept it like that. Perfect. Keeping everything separate, even though they're in faction versus faction. That would have made things feel somewhat fresh rather than everybody being inside the ring. You could have had somewhat of the same thing happen with Wardlow. You didn't need it, but, if you wanted to do it, you could have.
Wardlow could have been in a makeshift octagon.
Exactly.
They've been like, so this is where because he could have cut that same promo. He could have used the exact same words, but he could have been inside of an octagon.
Yes. And now, this is where I say that this last part here should have been at the end of the show, where you had MJF and FTR come to the ring with Tully, just them four, and cut their same respective promos. FTR going first, then MJF, and then you had the Inner Circle with their whole thing, and you could have ended off the show like that. Yeah, it was a cheesy segment when the Inner Circle smashed with the car, but I would have felt better with it going off TV like that than this being in the middle of the show.
I didn't like that. I didn't like the whole Inner Circle destroying the limo thing. For some reason, it didn't sit with me well. I don't know why.
Because it's a rehash of shit.
I think that may be why. It's
some
the
old
rehash.
Attitude Era like level stuff. Just
once again,
like
Jericho's getting out all of his things he couldn't do.
Not only that, but we're starting to see repeats of like property getting destroyed. Like we already saw the Bucks trailer the Elite's trailer get destroyed. We saw and then again antics before, was it last week or 2 weeks ago when they got sprayed down with a little bit of the bubbly? It's just antics, like we've all agreed on. It's just Jericho getting off shit that he probably didn't get to get off in the other company.
Yeah, and I agree. I just felt like this whole thing could have been spread out way better. It made it feel fresh rather than it feel like Inner Circle versus Pinnacle. I would have rather it just be completely separate and then everybody just have their own gripes and beefs, because then I wouldn't have hated it like that.
Did I misheard correctly? Now is Sammy Guevara calling out MJF?
Yeah, because MJF had said something about Sammy, and then Sammy addressed it at the end. You know, so I guess you may have two feuds going on. I guess you may get Spears and Guevara, and then you might get MJF and Guevara before MJF finally accepts a Jericho match.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so basically everything is still being set up with this fucking feud. I'm not too mad about it because it still seems somewhat separate.
No. We should be upset by this. Because you gave us blood and guts and you didn't give us Stadium Stampede, and now we're going to just get regular matches.
True.
Should have had those regular matches in between Blood and Guts and Stadium Stampede.
Exactly.
Yeah. I agree.
You know what you could have done? If they had not decided to do Blood and Guts, like I guess as early as Blood and Guts was, like say maybe you save that Blood and Guts match for Double or Nothing, like we were talking about. You could have had this time, like between now and the 4 weeks straight of special shows, to cut promos, cut all your fun shit, like get everything set up for those individual matches each week.
Yes. That's how it should have been.
Yeah, pacing's a little off with all this, but I still want to see the shit go down.
No. I still want to see it go down because it makes sense to finally see FTR battle Proud and Powerful. Proud and Powerful. It makes sense now to see Sammy go against Spears or Jericho goes in Jericho and MJF and Wardlow and Hager. It makes sense. Yeah. Hell, they could even keep mixing it up to where it could be trios or this team, that team. Like they could mix up the fights. The problem is you gave us these two high-profile fights, and then now you want to start doing the individual breakdown matches where, maybe you could have gave us Blood and Guts first and be like, we won as a team. Well, okay, let's see how y'all win as individuals.
True.
Yeah.
And then it could have been, because hell, Tony Khan could have came out there and did like his Regal thing where the Pinnacle and Inner Circle just been fighting so much over the weeks. Like, all right, guys, we gotta just settle this. Y'all gotta just have one match. The losing team disbands or something or whatever, but it shouldn't be these two big matches. A team gets jumped, they disappear for a week. Then now we want to have the individual matches.
Yeah.
It's a little backwards. like if this was done correctly, this could have been booked all the way to All Out.
Yeah, done correctly. It could have. They
just like how Jaeger said, their next the Fight for the Fallen and Fighter Fest and all of that could have been okay. This week you're going to get the Hager and Wardlow in the MMA fight, Fyter Fest week 1.
I think we're still gonna get that. I'm pretty sure we're still gonna get these individual matches leading up to or during these specials. However,
because I mean, Hager
that's
and
now
Wardlow
3
is
weeks.
next week.
Oh shit! Never mind.
Yeah, I was saying Hager and Wardlow is next week.
I forgot when that was happening. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's next week. The little MMA fight, the little MMA cage fight. But each of those specialty shows in July could have been a match. 1 week it could have been. Put it this way, they could have did it like this. 1 week it could have been the Wardlow and Hager. 1 week it could have been FTR and Ortiz and Santana. 1 week it could have been Spears and Guevara. And if Guevara would have beat Spears, he'd get MJF at the next show.
Truth.
Especially since it would have gave Jericho the little bit of time he needs off since he's about to go start touring again.
True.
And that way, come All Out in September, Jericho could have came back and they could have had their big Inner Circle versus Pinnacle blow off. But that's just me booking it.
And we shouldn't be booking it better than AEW. Come on, guys. Come on. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully this, we can pull the whole Triple H logic and just say, maybe if we just wait, see how it ends up. We may eat our own words. I doubt it. But we just have to wait and see. But next up, Miro defended his TNT championship against Dark Order's Evil Uno. And before we get into this,
wait. You forgot a match.
What?
No.
You forgot Nyla Rose and Layla Hirsch.
No, actually,
that was later.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, this is dead in the middle of the show.
Wait, I thought Miro and Evil Uno was the main event.
It seemed like it.
It should have been. Let's be real. It should have been, but there was actually 2 matches. This one and then another one before.
Wait, what was the main event of the show?
The tag match.
The Brian Cage and Luke Hobbs match.
Oh my God, that was wait. What the fuck was I watching last night? Really? Oh shit, that was. Oh my God, that was the main event.
There were. Let me see here. There were 2 matches and 2 promos prior to that.
Shit. I must have really was zoning out this AEW.
See that whole time slot, man, gets everybody messed up.
I will say this. Personally, the match was okay.
Yes.
We knew Evil Uno wasn't gonna win.
Yo, the way they built this though. They had, Road to Dynamite talking about Evil Uno and his journey that he's been on, and Miro and his. They really made a match that should have been an obvious one, look questionable.
Yes. The one thing I think, and this is if it sounds horrible, I do apologize. They gotta stop bringing up Brody Lee for everything. Because every time they've been bringing up Brody Lee, they tend to lose.
Yeah, I hate it,
and it's not looking good for that.
But one thing I will agree with them doing this for is the way that they treat the TNT Championship for Dark Order, how the way they and how high of a regard they hold it. I'm okay with that.
I am too.
But with the references to Brody, especially with Evil Uno doing, the whole hand signs, the big boot, the discus lariat, all that. I think the only time you should really do that, where you channel Brody Lee stuff, is when it's going to be a high quality match that's going to end with one of them winning in Dark Order's favor, rather than them just, Silver, Uno, anybody else that's doing something in Dark Order where they do a high profile match and then they do that and they lose. It's just I agree.
The one thing I thought Miro should have did differently, he should have slapped the game over in front of the Dark Order with them facing the Dark Order. I know he had to do the game over to the hard cam, but since he realized the Dark Order was out there, he should have slapped the game over in front of them And if
He
they
did.
really wanted to play into the sympathy of it, he should have did it normally and kind of had Evil Uno thinking he might get his brother to the, and then that's when he did the haha,
lock
you
in.
thought.
Oh, okay.
That's
see
how I
this.
think they should have did it. But unfortunately, of course, Dark Order was on the reverse side of the hard cam. But that would have been the most heelish shit ever to slap the game over right there in front and have and fake to give Evil Uno that he had the hope he could escape it. And right when he kind of maybe got to the ropes or whatever, then he could have just, and it would have been like, damn.
It's like, oh, you son of a bitch.
He went a little halfway though, because he was like waving at the Dark Order.
Yeah.
Now there was some heel shit too to wave at them like, "Hi, you thought."
Yeah.
But once again, too, if they would have established Evil Uno more as a singles wrestler than a tag team wrestler, then I would have saw it differently. But since it's hard to see Uno without Grayson, that's what also kind of made me like, well, Uno's gonna lose this one.
This is where the downside of Dark and Elevation come in, because Uno had been going. It's like since they announced Uno was going to be the guy to be facing Miro, they gave him a run of singles matches where he had been looking strong.
Okay.
I'll give Uno a pass on the Brody Lee mentions just because we don't get to hear from Uno often.
Yeah,
okay.
True.
And he hasn't really, I guess, been able to tell his side on losing Brody Lee and everything, or at least not on a public sense.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So that's where I'll give him that extension. But yes, I completely agree that like the relation of mentioning Brody Lee ending up in losses is gonna start reflecting if it hasn't already.
Because Brody Lee's memory is there with the group, especially if -1 comes out with them.
Yeah,
as he
every
did.
time.
Yeah.
So we know the memory is there because he was the exalted one, and -1 is there. But to just like mention it like that, but then boom, they lose. Then it's like, fuck. Like, don't tug on the heartstrings, and you know we don't get the good ending, quote unquote, at the end. You know, because I mean, let's harken back. Rey Mysterio won the Royal Rumble. He was inspired by Eddie. Imagine all of that I'm doing it for Eddie, for Ray to get to WrestleMania and lose. It would have been like, oh, fuck. Like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that also goes, and that's the one thing that the reason why I was stating what I said about Dark Order like a couple weeks back when I said they have to go in some type of different direction or else they're going to end up being looked at as just like remnants of what could have been. Because, you know, they want to put them in the spotlight, but they're just giving them moments and not successes. Because you think about, you know, we can always talk about, you know, Preston Vance being in like the Battle Royal where he looked good in it. Yeah, he had a moment.
Oh my God, that was the main event.
Yeah.
I do remember Preston Vance coming out. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I just had that realization. My bad. Go ahead and finish what you were saying.
Yeah, they just have moments. Like they don't have. There's no real success. Like you haven't seen any type of situation where like Dark Order has come really on top of something. The only person that's had success, you know, in regards to the Dark Order is Hangman, and he's not really in the Dark Order. You know,
Dark Order affiliate.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and then the rankings I sent y'all, were they even in the tag rankings? Any of the tag teams, were they?
I
don't believe that they were.
Well,
let me look at the rankings right quick.
They've been mixing up. They've been mixing up Dark Order's members for their tag teams whenever they have.
As far as tag teams, number 5 is Proud and Powerful, 4 is Private Party, 3 is FTR, 2 is Acclaimed, and 1 is still Varsity Blondes.
Which just still makes no fucking sense.
It doesn't. If you lose to the champs, you need to go down. Like, get out the top 5. Sorry. Like, if they were number 6, then I would have understood that. But
but none of the Dark Order are even ranked in the tag teams. They have 3 different teams within Dark Order?
Right, but they've been mixing and matching throughout Dark and Elevation. Like they've
You
been
know what?
doing
Honestly,
5 with Reynolds. They've been doing like
I
Evil
think
Uno with 10 or some shit like that.
going forward, the Dark Order, it would behoove them to implore the Freebird rule.
For the
Which
whole
one?
Dark Order.
For the whole Dark Order.
Shit.
Let them do the Freebird rule. I
Oh, you know
mean,
what?
remember,
The Spirit
Undisputed
Squad
Era
did
did
it.
it, huh?
The Spirit Squad did it.
Spirit Squad did it. Undisputed
Mm,
Era did it. Because remember, that's how Adam Cole became a Grand Slam champ when he had to defend the titles with Kyle O'Reilly because Bobby Fish got injured.
Yeah.
true.
And so, I mean, so
You
yeah, but
could
you
do it like
said
that.
Spirit Squad was 5 of them, and
Yeah.
they were interchangeable with the tag titles.
Yeah.
So it
That
would
makes
behoove
sense.
Dark Order to employ the Freebird rule, so that
Oh,
way,
I can get
what if
behind
they
that.
get the
yeah,
trios title first?
it's a
Could.
possibility.
Ooh,
That
Freebird
that
rule with the trios title would be nice.
It would be
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, that would
You
make
know
sense.
what? That actually makes sense if
Okay.
Dark Order, because I'm pretty sure they're saving Silver for something, unless he's really just that hurt.
Mm.
I think he's almost. I mean, he's got to be close to getting cleared now. The way he
Yeah,
keeps showing up on TV. But if the trios title is coming as shit, it could come within the next couple of weeks, depending on these specials.
yeah.
Um, if it comes to that, then yeah, I would like to see it be, I don't know, Uno, Grayson, and Silver,
Yeah.
and then like we just said, use the Freebird rule and let them play hot potato with the belts.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm definitely down with that. Feed Johnny. Is Johnny hungry
Big Johnny.
for some
Oh,
gold?
that man's some hungry.
But yeah, Miro retains. No surprise there. He's going to be holding on to that title for quite a while. So until
Mm-hmm.
something
I
changes,
don't
but
know who I see beating him. Be honest with you.
uh, if anything, it'll if they don't pull the trigger with Hangman and Kenny, they'll probably throw
Hangman.
Hangman against Miro. That's the only person believably at this point that I can see that it would make sense, especially if they want to keep that whole Dark Order legacy with the TNT title and have him do it for them. But
Yeah.
if not, then I just see him going straight to Kenny and then see what
Okay.
happens there.
Yeah.
But speaking of Kenny and Don Callis came out to talk some shit about good old Jungle Boy. Uh, this was cool.
I'll wait till
It was
y'all
all
done
right.
with this.
Yikes.
It was all right. I mean, I wish it could have been better. You know, Kenny and Don Callis doing Kenny and Don Callis' stuff, but I think that they could have done something like this without those two and just highlighted more of Jungle Boy, whether putting him in a match or having him have a segment on his own. But when you have the star power of Kenny Omega and then you have Don Callis being Don Callis, it overshadows the quiet and timid demeanor of Jungle Boy, and it makes him seem even lesser. And that's the problem, because when they did that, they kind of did a disservice to Jungle Boy, in my opinion. When you think about this match coming up, because yeah, he may have gotten the edge on Omega, you know, after hitting him and stuff like that, but at the end of it, you know, my opinion still didn't change, you know, from what it was before. Because I mean, you think about the comparison where Omega and Cassidy, where you had that kind of thing, because Cassidy's so quiet and he's so kind of nonchalant, it puts him a little bit higher because he just doesn't give a shit. But when you have Jungle Boy, it just feels it doesn't have that same impact.
Because he's 24 years old or 26 years old or something. I feel like his age is really kind of playing into that whole factor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing a pattern. Hopefully, we don't get a third match like this. But Kenny's kind of picking on the quiet guy in school.
23.
I didn't. Oh, he is 23. I didn't even think about that. Huh.
I mean, aside from Pac, obviously, but yeah, Kenny's kind of like picking on the quiet guy in school. I mean, again, the quiet guy is the ones that's earning the spot, but once they earn that spot, Kenny's like, "Come on, like you're not ready for me. Like, come on, let's have this match later. Like, let's move it around." But this whole interaction, even with Jungle Boy getting the edge up on Kenny, just felt like it's going to give me a preview of Kenny's match with Jungle Boy, because eventually Jungle Boy's going to get the upper hand throughout the match, and then Bucks or the Good Brothers or somebody are going to come and save his ass, or Callus. And you know what? It's kind of reminiscent of Evolution era Triple H, because we know what Kenny is. We know that he's like best wrestler in the world. Yet he's pulling all this heel bullshit like he needs to, when he, like, we just know. I just want to see him in a clean title defense right now.
You know what? They did bring up an interesting thing that I thought, with the whole, of course, we know nobody has ever kicked out the one-winged angel, but they did say nobody has ever got free from the snare trap.
That's true.
That's true.
So they did bring that up. So I think that would be a interesting element to the match, that unfortunately Kenny might be the first person to escape the snare trap, probably due to some shenanigans from punk ass Don Callis. But you know,
punk ass Don Callis.
Don Callis to me is what Malcolm Bivens is to Mr. Diesel.
Damn.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that. I have no problem with Don Callis, because it's like Yeager says, he's doing his fucking job.
Yep.
He's doing his fucking job. Malcolm Bivens, just want to give him one of these right to the just the gullet, just right there.
That's why I want to do. That's why I want to do the Don Callis.
He's still the guy that creepily showed up behind a what was it? A nurse, an infirmary room, right? That's Malcolm Bivens, right?
Yes,
because to me he's forgettable. But yeah, the way he just popped up in that sense, I was just, man, that's a little creepy. Like, you're just waiting for somebody to just show up in there. You're like, hey, saw you take this L. You know who can help you with that?
Yeah, you know what? Don Callis is the type of guy to where he would harass the fuck out of you, but be convinced in his mind that you were the one harassing him the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
That's some gaslighting shit right there.
Right? But yeah, clearly this is what that segment was. No different. I still feel the same way I felt about, this match going forward. It's more like going to be a good match. I mean, think about Cody and Jungle Boy for the TNT Championship. It's going to be one of those, probably on a higher scale, obviously, because Kenny's involved. But yeah, still feel the same way. Another successful defense for Omega. Yeah. But we go from that to a I was gonna say 5-second match, but because Chandler Hopkins got
whoa, sir, we cannot dismiss the ever so not over or under, but nonetheless whelming promo that was Jade Cargill.
Let me take this off. Let me take this off. Jade Cargill had a promo.
Okay, we'll move on.
I mean, yeah, she did. I mean, it was
whelming. I
want to see her in the ring. Like that. That's all same. I want. I want her on Dynamite, see her in the ring. Cool. Because to me, it's going to be the same old same with that situation. She's always going to end every one of her promos with, "I'm that bitch."
Well, apparently she's getting it copyrighted or something. So
she should, because she needs to get a shirt made.
She does.
Get that shirt made. But let's get her in some match, because I don't think. Let me just double check right here, because I do have them up. She's still not ranked. Focus on getting ranked.
She's
Focus on getting
pulling the
ready.
matches in the darks and the elevations. We got
I
to get
agree.
through Nyla Rose versus Baker first, though.
Well, yeah, but I think there's Britt Baker's going to go through a lot of people on her way there because I think Jade Cargill's not even going to be a huh.
She could be a factor.
No, not for that. No.
Oh.
I'm thinking that since Serena Deeb lost to,
Oh.
they may be building towards that. Who knows? Who knows?
Oh. Yeah. Let's
But
fantasy book it.
if what was her name? Camille, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they're gonna build her up, especially to beat someone like Serena Deeb, I believe that they're gonna have her be completely dominant. And while we're thinking that, oh, Jade Cargill isn't getting, like, she's not being ranked right now, she doesn't seem like she wants a title. All of a sudden, she comes up and then starts to say, hey, I want to go against Camille for the NWA championship, and just dominates the fuck out of Camille. So that's a possibility. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, or they may just be saving Jade, for maybe sometime next year, to be the next heel to take over whoever beats Britt Baker, probably Thunder Rosa. But
damn, I would like to see Jade with that NWA title, though.
it wouldn't be a bad look for her, at this point.
Right.
So I'd lobby for that before I would lobby for her getting the AEW Women's Championship.
Fair.
But yeah, to this 10-second match, Lance Archer squashed Chandler Hopkins.
That poor
came
guy.
in, fucked shit up, walked off, and then that was it. This is how we need to be seeing the Murder Hog Monster in this capacity, and then to gain more matches, because again, like we said, he should have had gone against Kenny Omega to even boost up the fucking One-Winged Angel even more, because that was an easily booked thing that you could have done. Can Kenny get him up?
Yep.
Dunzo. And then that would have been it. But
poor Chandler Hopkins tried to attack Archer before the match started.
he tried. It was a good strategy, but he failed.
Like my guy, you got a good 50 pounds under this man.
If that.
Jesus.
But yeah, that was
shouts to the Murder Hawk for changing up his hair, though. Like, he went he yanked out the extensions, it looked like.
Did he?
Yeah, he didn't have any color in this.
Oh damn. I didn't even notice. Because the way he walked in, pissed off, finished the match, and then walked the fuck off. And he didn't waste any time. He's pissed at Miro. And he's pissed off at himself.
Yep.
But we go from that short ass match to a fairly longer match that I appreciated. Nyla Rose versus legit Layla Hirsch. Again, I will keep saying this. Layla Hirsch, Kurt Angle of the AEW Women's Division.
10,000%.
Whereas Serena Deeb is the Bret Hart of the AEW Women's Division.
Ooh. It's a good comparison.
Yeah, Layla Hirsch definitely, and she showed that. I mean, one, for her stature and just how she stacks up against everyone else, and just the fact that she can back up that with, her technical skills. I don't know if I think it's Greco-Roman that she does. I can't remember. But yeah, I enjoyed this match. It was good to see her against Nyla Rose, because I didn't know how this would have gone. Like, if I would have even pictured it in my head.
I was honest. Like, had we not seen Nyla Rose straight up start, her shit with Britt, I wouldn't have known who would have won this.
Same.
Yeah.
And just one, I got to give it to the offense of Layla Hirsch, just because it's so fluid, and for her to just take, and maybe it's just me being sizist, if that's even a thing. It's hard for me to see her do certain things in the ring, and I'm like, fuck, she's gonna get hurt.
Yep.
Because it's almost like, because of how short she is, it's almost like watching a little kid try some shit against an adult. So it's weird, but it works out. And it's probably because of those calves, because she has legs are. I think her legs might be thicker than mine, even though she's a lot shorter.
That woman
But
stands 4'11" and just kicks ass.
is she 4'11"?
I think so. I mean, that's like my quick estimate. but she. Oh wow, I forgot about they put a little step stool out for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is,
but yeah, she is a competitor. She needs to be having a belt. Well, she will have a belt eventually.
yeah, she is ranked 5, so I know she's going to get in the ring because they did allude to that too. They stated that she was the only one to pin Britt Baker this year.
Oh damn.
Yeah. So, and that there and in the rankings, it even shows it right there. That blemish on Britt Baker's record, that 11-1,
Yep.
that one belongs to Layla Hirsch, who is ranked number 5 right now. So
yeah,
we're definitely probably going to see that match relatively soon, if anything. So, Nyla Rose went over, obviously. It's not surprised because she's going in a feud with Britt Baker, which of course is different because it is a heel versus heel dynamic. AEW got to put the quotations because of how they run things. Britt Baker gave a promo right after this, basically stating how she runs this division. Since she got in here, this is what it was. She alluded to the fact that Nyla Rose is nothing without the title, that the title makes her, and that respectively, Britt Baker is the one that makes that title. So, and
it just looks so good on her.
It does. It does. It looks right.
It does.
And this is why it sucks, because yeah, she's gonna have all these matches and she's gonna retain, but she's eventually going to have to lose that title. And I don't know if they're going to be prepared for that to happen, because it's going to be a hard act to follow depending on who comes on top after.
True.
So they're going to have to make sure that they build the next person up perfectly to follow that, because if not, then we're probably looking at Britt Baker and an interim champion, or basically a paper champ placeholder for the next person, possibly Jade. Because they may just go from heel to interim face to another heel, because again, it seems like the heels are the ones that's killing it on AEW.
Oh, to brush up on the 6-man tag that's going to happen next week. It's going to be Penta, Eddie Kingston, and Frankie Kazarian versus Matt Jackson and the Good Brothers.
Okay, that actually makes sense with Penta and Kingston, because I guess Pac is like, yo, fuck that.
Yeah, it looked like Pac didn't care for Kingston too much.
Yeah, no, not even in the promo. But but yeah, Baker finished off her promo with everybody in unison, especially Skivone going DMD.
I mean, he's the bestie.
He is, and he's so biased, but it's a good bias, so I can't complain.
Right. This is our first, or next week will be our first Good Brothers match in a while, I feel.
Yeah.
Well, at least on AEW.
Yeah, because they hadn't been in the ring since going against Mox and the Bucks, I think. Because I think it was Mox and the Bucks versus Kenny and Good Brothers. Yeah. Damn, that is a while.
Yeah.
But from there, we finally get our main event. Hangman Page and Dark Order's 10 against Team Taz's Brian Cage and Powerhouse Hobbs. I enjoyed this match.
This was a good match. It shouldn't have been the main event, though.
No. Again, I would have lobbied for the TNT Championship match, or what I said earlier with the promo and ending off with Inner Circle. But But yeah, this was probably a good slide to be like either next to last or in the middle, kind of where the TNT Championship match was. But I love, and I didn't think that with Hangman and Brian Cage with their chemistry, I didn't think it was going to be that consistent. But every match they've had has either started off perfectly, like this one started off perfectly with these two, and they just are so fluid.
Mm-hmm.
And to throw in 10, who I didn't expect to have any chemistry with anybody within the ring like that, perfect chemistry. Hobbs showed the fuck out as well. I think Hobbs being in Team Taz has helped him out the most with this, because he was able to show that edge, and now he seems like a legit I guess
big man.
Yeah, a legit big man in AEW, rather than the big man jobber that he was on Dark and then early Dynamite when he was before joining Team Taz. He just seemed like that guy that was there to either be that adversarial person to go against for like a smaller guy or another big guy. But right now, I think ever since he started feuding with Christian Cage and then going through the Battle Royal, it's just done him wonders. And now, like, if he branched off on his own, I'd have no problem. But I still think he stayed with Team Taz because it's just a good look for him. But yeah, I know Scoot didn't technically enjoy this match too much, but I liked it.
Is that why we ain't got Scoot?
I hate saying this about fucking Dark Order, but there has to be some changes made, because I don't know if it's the mask thing or what, but it's hard for me to give anybody in Dark Order that has a mask a full identity. Because 10 is cool, like, I have no problem. He's a good in-ring dude, but like there's nothing that really just says, hey, that's a star. That's something that I look forward to his matches. It's just, he just looks like a utility player for me. And I know it sucks to say that, because it's, it's part of the gimmick as far as with the masks. But, I thought before with Dark Order, I thought the whole idea was to graduate to being able to take the mask off. So
yeah, that was what it was at first with the whole minion thing, and then you got to be your own person. Isn't that what that was definitely what Silver and Reynolds were about?
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I mean, because, and I'm starting to think that maybe it's part of that whole Brody thing. But
I think it's definitely a Brody thing.
Yeah, that's.
Let's see. The only people that still wear masks are Uno, 10, and 5.
Yeah, and I'm cool with Uno. Like, Uno's always worn a mask, so that's just like his thing to me. But yeah, I think it may be time for oh wait, never mind. I just thought about it, because of little Brody. He still wears his mask, and like 5 and 10 are like, I guess, his closest ones. So maybe they wear
Definitely
the mask because
10.
So maybe that's like, if we think about like royalty shit, that's probably like his, the prince's guard,
Yeah.
So like, just showing that. So I take back half of what I said. Yeah, I take half of that back. So in that case, yeah, I just want them to kind of promote it like that then, instead of me kind of.
How old is -1 again?
Shit, that's a good question.
At any rate, whatever the age is, I'd love to see him being backed up by 10 and 5 in a good 6 to 8 years when he makes a in-ring debut, assuming that's what he wants to do.
Oh shit! Wait, hold up. Is he 8? He's either 8 or 9. That's
either 8 or 9. Well, then call it 10 years. Then I'd like to see him in a good 10 years, being backed by at least 10.
Man, that's gonna be a while.
It's gonna be a minute for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of -1, he came out at the climax of the match with the rest of Dark Order after as Hangman and 10. Well, 10 actually got the pin, and they all toasted up some brewskis while -1 and Colt Boom Boom Cabana had bottles of water.
I did see that.
And that's pretty much how AEW went off on the night. Feel good moment for them. Still kind of a throwaway match. Sorry. One thing that we did forget, or rather I forgot, is the fact that you had a little spat between Ricky Starks and Brian Cage where they tried the repeat of him throwing the belt to use to cheat, which also happened to cost him the match. Because Cage left after being promptly slapped in the face by fancy lavender suit wearing, pearl necklace wearing Ricky Starks.
Oh, he also had those type of loafers on that apparently you don't put the back of your foot into. It looked like, I don't know. He was, look, the drip was on point, but it's just like only Ricky Starks could pull that shit off.
Hey, he was dapper. As Scoot said. As Scoot said, he was definitely dapper.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I gotta give props to Brian Cage for doing a 619 in this match, though.
Yes. I don't mind it because I know Cornette had his issues with Brian Cage, with any big guy doing like acrobatic shit.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with it. It's not like he's doing it every fucking match. So
yeah,
and I think the evolution of the big man is fully intact. I mean, you look at guys like Keith Lee, you look at guys like Samoa Joe, you look at guys like Lance Archer doing the fucking springboard moonsault. And so on and so forth. I mean, hell, Evil Uno, granted, he lost a bit of weight, but he's still doing fucking Hurricane Ranas and Sentons and shit. So
I won't lie, I like that shit. I like the Keith Lee level shit. Like that's good shit to me.
And it's more intimidating.
Some acrobatics. Yeah, for damn sure. It's like, oh shit, he can do that. Oh, like it's just something else in the arsenal to be worried about.
Because that used to be the old trope. It's like, yeah, he's big and strong, but he's probably slow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, what do you do when you pack on some speed and some acrobatics to that shit? Not so easy to beat now, isn't it? So I think he's looking at it all wrong, but it's that old school mindset to where it's like you just can't look past that point. But whatever. I'm assuming Scoot is still doing ScooterRay things, so I'm gonna get your final thoughts on.
He's too busy. He's too busy up here at the moment.
Oh, he's at the Scootical right now. He's on the Scootical.
Yeah, he's at the Scootical right now. He'll come back down in a second.
That makes sense. Well, while we wait for Scoot to jump down from his pedestal on the Scootical, you got any final thoughts on AEW Dynamite?
Matches and bits were just out of order as far as like if I had any complaints for this. I will definitely commend AEW for their storytelling through their matches this week, though.
Oh yeah,
definitely told a big story for Kazarian and getting more involved as the elite hunter. And you know what? Great job telling the story with Cage and FTW, but I'm ready for y'all to pull the trigger already. Just let me just see Hobbs like jump Cage and take that FTW title off him or something, and then Taz like talking shit as he's doing so. But I'm ready to see it. I love Taz's like at this moment like stubborn commitment to keeping FTW a family though. like
nothing's wrong.
I mean, he's like, look, everybody argues. Like we like everybody's in the bash heads at some point in a group, this and that. He's given it the excuse to try and prolong it, but yeah, it's ready to be done. Just go ahead, do what you need to do with Cage.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off what you said as far as like storytelling. Um, I know they can do a fantastic job with storytelling because I mean you look at the long time stuff they've done with, you know, the whole thing with the Bucks and Hangman, and then you think about Hangman and Omega winning the tag titles, and just the way that they had that story kind of just carry on, and then to transition into the match, and how just the story of the match has impacted the overall feud and the story from the beginning to end. Like
Right.
that's the stuff that I do miss, and I don't know what changed between. I mean, granted, yeah, the pandemic happened, obviously, but I don't know what truly changed outside of that to make them just maybe fall short on a few things. So I would just hope that they get back to that aspect of storytelling across the board, because there was not a point in AEW where they really dropped the ball on any feud or storyline that they had going on. So yeah, that's why I just really hope that they get back to form and finish where it needs to finish. But as far as Dynamite this week, what's up?
I was saying for sure. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. As far as Dynamite though, yeah, same thing. The pacing, the show could have been booked a lot better, match placement and everything. I just feel like they had a good show. I think they just packed unnecessary stuff into it that they could have just left out, and it would have made the show that much better. Especially like what I said, the first half being the shit I didn't care about, and the second half being like a good show that I was actually able to stomach and watch and actually enjoy, you know, on all accounts, promo, story, segments, matches, across the board. But yeah, it could have been better. So, see, I thought, Scoot's still on his pedestal. I get it, Scoot. I get it. It's fine. He didn't like the tag match that much. We pissed him off about Matt Hardy. You know, Sting was still on TV, so he didn't like that, and it's cool. It's cool. We're gonna blame the IWC for this, and it's fine.
Got done pissed off ScooterRay.
But I will let y'all know where y'all can find him though. Y'all can find him at the ScooterRay on your Instagrams, on your Twitches. Bam, there he is. Look, see how he come down? See that? You see that?
You know, I had to ascend from the moon.
See, that's where he was.
And,
you were saying the new office.
You know, I had to float past the Scootical, then I had to float past the Pinnacle to come back. So, but yes, of course, the ScooterRay is where you can find me on IG, Twitch, Instagram. I said IG, so same thing. YouTube, of course, Less Than Stealthy Ninjas at all the platforms, all of them, including Spotify, Anchor, Google, because we got the Ninja Banter podcast. But yes, I had to come down from the moon because that's where we taking this podcast to. But I'm not the only one y'all should be trying to follow. Y'all should be, especially the ladies of the IWC. Y'all should be checking out what Mr. Jaeger Bombastic has to say to y'all.
So, gonna be taking the Jaeger After Dark into a more subtle tone, more. You know what, Scoot? You gave me a good idea with this ASMR stuff. AMSR, ASMR stuff. Anyways, so I'm not gonna just be giving you that AEW After Dark. It's gonna be AEW SMR After Dark. At any rate, we'll dim the lights. We'll talk ever so sweetly in your ear, and you can just listen and enjoy yourselves. But if you want to find me outside of a vocal space. Right down over here, Jaeger Bombastic at.
Oh wait, hold on. There it is. Bam.
Bam. At your Instagrams, your Twitches, your Xboxes, your PlayStations. Yeah. There's some yelling going outside my place. That's interesting. They don't listen to me as much. They don't get to chill out. But you know what? I know who they could talk to, so they can probably level their heads and maybe get some negativity out their way and fill themselves with some positivity. That'd be this.
Of course.
Would be this guy up here.
Of course. If y'all need that positivity, I guess you can check Lifestyle One Up on all your podcast listening platforms. Of course, if you want to see the visual stuff for Lifestyle One Up, you can check your IGs, your Twitters, your Twitches, your TikToks, all that good stuff. But if you want to get all the bullshit out the way, you want to send some funny shit, some stupid shit, just want to shoot the shit, hit up the Lit Dizzle. All that. IG, Twitter, Twitch, the TikTok, YouTube, all that good shit. Hell, you can even Google both of those. I'll come up. But you know what? You know who else? I just found out is very Googleable?
Who that?
The Less Than Stealthy Ninjas. All one word. Googleable.
What do you know? What do you know?
You put it up there. That's all you get is there. You get the Ninja Banter stuff. You get the Twitch. You get the YouTube. You get the Twitter. You get the IG. You get the Spotify. You get the TikTok on Google.
TikToks.
You get
the TikToks.
Less Than Stealthy Ninjas. Now Googleable.
Now
it's a word. It's a word.
Googleable.
So yeah, there's no excuse. No excuse.
All we gotta do now is get this man Googleable.
Oh, we will.
Oh, it's coming.
Heartthrob of the IWC. You goddamn right, he's gonna be Googleable. but yeah, as we leave you off with that nice bit of information of where you can find everybody, I salute my bros with a too sweet. Bam. And until you hear these voices that's smoother than store-bought microwave warm milk, and as handsome as all the sexiest men in the world combined, I bid you all a mother effing tag out.